Imagine you are sitting at the dinner table, surrounded by people you've known your entire life. The laughter flows, the conversation is light, and everything seems perfect. But in the back of your mind, there's a nagging feeling, a sense that something is wrong, that the people you trust most are hiding a secret that could tear your life apart. This isn't just a suspicion. It's the beginning of a story that would change my life forever. Let me take you back to the beginning. My name is Lucas, and for as long as I can remember, my family was my everything. I have an older brother, Nathan, who I always looked up to. He was the golden child, successful, charming, the one who always had everything together. Growing up, I tried to be just like him, even if it meant living in his shadow. I thought we were close. I thought we had a bond that nothing could break. Then there was my wife, Emily. We'd been married for 6 years, and I truly believed she was my soulmate. She was everything to me, kind, supportive, and always there when I needed her. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but nothing major, nothing that would make me question her loyalty. We were, or at least I thought, in love. But like I said, something changed. It started small, almost imperceptible. Emily began acting differently. Nothing drastic, just little things that made me feel uneasy. She started spending more time on her phone, often turning it away when I was around. At first, I told myself I was being paranoid. We all need our space, right? But then came the late-night work meetings, the sudden bursts of laughter when she was texting someone late at night, the moments when her face would tighten if I asked who she was talking to. One evening, we were having dinner at my brother Nathan's place. His wife, Sarah, was there too, and the four of us were sitting around the table like we always did, sharing stories, laughing about old times, and making plans for the future. But Emily seemed distracted. She kept checking her phone, glancing at Nathan, and then quickly looking away when she noticed me watching her. It was a small moment, but it planted a seed of doubt in my mind. Why was she looking at him like that? Was there something going on between them? I felt ridiculous even thinking it. This was my wife and my brother, for God's sake. They would never do something like that. But the thought wouldn't leave me. It clung to me like a shadow, growing darker with every passing day. I decided to ignore it, to push it out of my mind, but that nagging feeling kept coming back, stronger each time. A week later, Emily went out for one of her work meetings again. She told me she'd be back late, but something in her voice sounded off. I waited for her to leave and then did something I'm not proud of. I checked her phone. It was locked, of course, but I knew her password. My hands were shaking as I unlocked it, half hoping I'd find nothing, half expecting the worst. And then there it was. A message from Nathan. Not just any message. A string of messages that confirmed every single one of my worst fears. They had been seeing each other behind my back for months. My brother, the one person I thought I could trust more than anyone, was having an affair with my wife. I can't describe what I felt in that moment. It wasn't just anger, although there was plenty of that. It was betrayal on a level I couldn't even begin to process. I sat there, staring at the screen, my world collapsing around me. Everything I thought I knew, everything I believed in, was a lie. The people I loved most had been deceiving me for months, and I hadn't seen it. I didn't confront them right away. I wanted to, but I needed to think. I needed to figure out what I was going to do. For the next few days, I went through the motions of life, going to work, coming home, pretending everything was fine. But inside, I was a mess. Every time I looked at Emily, every time I spoke to Nathan, I felt like I was going to explode. Then one evening, I snapped. Emily came home late again, and I couldn't hold it in any longer. I asked her where she had been. She gave me the same old excuse: work, meetings, the usual lies. But this time, I didn't let it go. I told her I knew. I told her everything. About the messages, about Nathan, about how I had figured it out. She froze, her face going pale. For a moment, she didn't say anything, and in that silence, everything seemed to come crashing down. She didn't even try to deny it. She just broke down, sobbing, telling me how sorry she was, how it had been a mistake, how she hadn't meant for it to happen. But I didn't want to hear it. I didn't care about her apologies. The damage was done. My trust in her was shattered beyond repair, and there was no going back. The next day I called Nathan. I wasn't going to let him get away with this either. He tried to play dumb at first, but when I told him I knew everything, he fell silent. I expected him to apologize, to show some kind of remorse, but instead, he just told me it wasn't what I thought. He tried to justify it, saying that things between him and Sarah hadn't been great, that Emily had been there for him when he needed someone. I hung up on him. I couldn't listen to another word. My brother, my own flesh and blood, had betrayed me in the worst possible way, and he didn't even seem to care. It was as if I didn't matter, as if my feelings didn't exist. I filed for divorce the next day. I couldn't stay with Emily, not after everything she had done. And as for Nathan, I cut him out of my life completely. I haven't spoken to him since that phone call. In a matter of days, my entire family had fallen apart. The people I thought would always be there for me had proven that they couldn't be trusted. But the story doesn't end there. You see, betrayal like this doesn't just hurt in the moment. It stays with you. It eats away at you, slowly, over time. For months after the divorce, I felt like I was living in a fog. I couldn't trust anyone, couldn't let anyone get close to me. I had nightmares about it. Dreams where I would find out someone else I loved was lying to me, betraying me behind my back. It was a dark time, and I wasn't sure if I would ever come out of it. But eventually, something shifted. I realized that I couldn't let what had happened define me. Yes, I had been betrayed by the people I loved most, but that didn't mean my entire life was ruined. I still had friends, I still had my job, and I still had my own sense of self-worth. It took time, longer than I care to admit, but I started to rebuild. I focused on myself, on my own happiness, on the things that mattered to me, and slowly, very slowly, I started to heal. Now, years later, I'm in a better place. I've moved on from Emily, from Nathan, from the betrayal that once consumed me. I've even started dating again, although trust is still something I struggle with. But I've learned something important through all of this. Sometimes, the people you think you can trust the most are the ones who will hurt you the deepest. And when that happens, you have two choices. You can let it destroy you, or you can use it to make yourself stronger. I chose the latter, and while the scars from that time will always be there, I've learned to live with them. I've learned that trust is something that must be earned, not given freely. And I've learned that even when the worst happens, you have the power to rebuild, to start over, and to find happiness again. So if you're going through something similar, if you've been betrayed by someone you love, know this: you will get through it. It won't be easy, and it won't happen overnight, but you will come out the other side stronger, wiser, and ready to face whatever comes next. And remember, you're not alone. Betrayal is a painful part of life, but it doesn't have to be the end of your story. It can be the beginning of a new chapter, one where you take control of your own destiny. If you like this story and want to hear more, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and comment below. Check out my next video on another gripping family story. Just click the link on the end screen. Thanks for watching Rippled Bonds, where we explore the stories that shape us, for better or worse.